The repair bay of Station Theta 9 hummed with the usual symphony of hydraulics and welding torches. James wiped grease from his hands onto his already stained coveralls, squinting at the centuries-old freighter engine suspended above his workstation. Another day, another impossible repair job that somehow fell into his lap. Excuse me? The voice was small, musical, and very much not human. James turned to find two figures standing at the entrance of his bay. The larger one stood nearly 7 feet tall, her scales shimmering like polished amethyst under the fluorescent lights. Delicate wings, torn and tattered at the edges, hung limply from her shoulders. But it was the smaller figure that caught his attention. A child no more than 4 feet tall with scales of lighter purple that caught the light like mother of pearl. Her golden eyes were wide with hope. The adult dragon's eyes, however, held only desperation. "We need help," the mother said, her voice trembling. "But we have no credits. I understand if—" "Mama, don't cry," the little one interrupted, tugging at her mother's clawed hand. She pointed directly at James. "Maybe that human will help us." James set down his plasma wrench. The galaxy had not been kind to the Draconians since the Sovereignty Wars. Their homeworld destroyed, their people scattered. They were refugees in a universe that had little patience for the losing side. Most stations wouldn't even let them dock. "What do you need?" James asked simply. The mother, she'd introduced herself as Aliana, hesitated as if waiting for the other shoe to drop, for him to name some impossible price or turn them away. When neither happened, she gestured to her daughter. "Sarah's respirator," Aliana whispered. "It's failing. Our ship's life support can't compensate anymore. Without it in another day, maybe 2. She didn't need to finish. James could see the small device attached to the child's chest, its indicator light flickering between yellow and red. Draconian physiology required a specific mix of atmospheric compounds that few stations bothered to provide. Without the respirator, Sarah couldn't process the standard oxygen-nitrogen mix that humans breathed with ease. "Let me see it," James said. He knelt down to Sarah's level, and she stepped forward bravely, though he could see her small hands trembling. Up close, he could see she was even younger than he'd thought, maybe the equivalent of a human 6-year-old. Her scales were duller than they should be, a sign of respiratory distress. The respirator was a mess. Not just failing, sabotaged. Someone had deliberately damaged the intake valves, probably while they were docked at the last station. James felt anger coil in his gut. Draconians might have lost the war, but their children? What kind of monster targeted a child? "Can you fix it?" Aliana asked, and James heard a lifetime of rejection in those 4 words. "Yeah," James said, standing. "I can fix it. But not here. I need to take it to my fabrication unit. It'll take a few hours." "We have nothing to pay you with," Aliana said quietly. "Our ship barely has enough fuel to reach the next—" "Did I ask for payment?" The question hung in the air. Aliana stared at him with those ancient golden eyes, searching for the trick, the trap, the ulterior motive. In her experience, humans didn't help Draconians. Humans had been on the other side of the war. "Sarah," James said, addressing the little one directly, "I'm going to borrow this for a bit, okay? You're going to need to stay in your ship with your mama, where the air is right for you. Can you be brave for a few more hours?" Sarah nodded solemnly, even as her breathing came a bit harder. "Are you really going to help us, Mr. Human?" "James," he corrected gently. "And yeah, kid, I really am." 6 hours later, James walked across the docking bay toward the Draconian ship, a vessel that had clearly once been beautiful, but now bore the scars of 1,000 close calls and desperate escapes. His arms ached from the delicate work of not just repairing the respirator, but upgrading it. The original design had been civilian-grade, barely adequate. What James held now could function for years without maintenance. He'd also loaded a crate with atmospheric filters, medical supplies, and 3 full fuel cells onto a hover cart. Aliana opened the airlock before he could signal. She'd been watching for him. "I improved the efficiency by 40%, James explained as he carefully fitted the respirator back onto Sarah's chest. The indicator light blazed steady green. The little girl took a deep breath, her first easy one in days, and smiled. "The other supplies," Aliana began, staring at the crate. "We cannot—" "You have a kid to take care of," James interrupted. "Consider it an investment in the future. Maybe someday, when things are better, someone else will need help. And you'll remember that not everyone's an asshole." Tears welled in Aliana's eyes, real tears. diamond bright against her amethyst scales. In draconian culture, tears were sacred, shown only in moments of profound emotion. Why? She whispered. We're nothing to you. Our people and yours, your people and some humans, James corrected firmly. I didn't fight in that war. Neither did Sarah. Far as I'm concerned, the only side I'm on is the one where kids get to breathe. He stood, gathering his tools. There's a colony at Kepler 442. New settlement, they're not asking questions about where people come from. Coordinates are loaded in the nav data I included. Sarah tugged his coveralls before he could leave. When he looked down, she was holding something out to him. A small scale, naturally shed, gleaming like a purple jewel. Mama says we give these to people who are part of our heart now, Sarah said softly. James took it carefully, feeling the weight of the gesture. You take care of your mama, okay? I will. Thank you, James. As he walked back to his repair bay, the scale safely tucked in his pocket, James thought about humanity's place in the galaxy. Yeah, humans had fought wars and made enemies. But humans had also always had a stubborn habit of helping the underdog, of seeing a kid in trouble and stepping up. That's what made them human. And maybe, just maybe, that's what would save them all. End.